If you're pregnant, have a temporary visa, or your partner is undocumented, listen closely. Trump's 2025 executive order attempts to strip U.S. citizenship from certain children born on U.S. American soil. And even though federal courts have temporarily blocked this is a fight far from over, and it's headed all the way to the Supreme Court, and the outcome could reshape what citizenship means in America. Hi, I'm Zaira Solano, owner of Solano Immigration Law Firm. In this video, I'll explain who's impacted by this executive order, how it challenges over 100 years of legal precedent, and what's happening in the country right now so that you know exactly what to watch out for and how to protect your family. On January 20th, 2025, President Trump signed Executive Order 14160, titled Protecting the Meaning and Value of American Citizenship. This order targets certain children born in the United States after February 19, 2025, and it targets children whose parents are not U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents. It directs federal agencies not to issue citizenship documents such as passports or consular reports of birth abroad if the child's parents fall into specific categories. Let me explain what this means. The order focuses on two main groups of children. First, children whose mothers were unlawfully present in the United States at the time of birth and whose fathers were not U.S. citizens or green card holders. And second, children whose mothers were here legally on temporary status, like a tourist visa, a student visa, or a work visa, and whose fathers were also not U.S. citizens or permanent residents. It also defines the word mother and the word father as the biological female and male progenitor, meaning the order does not recognize adoptive parents or intended parents via surrogacy for citizenship purposes. This means that if a woman visits the United States on a tourist visa and gives birth here, and the father is not a citizen or a green card holder, their child could be denied automatic citizenship under this order. The same could apply to students, temporary workers, and even asylum seekers. The legal problem here is that birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution states, quote, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States, end quote. For over a century, that has been interpreted to guarantee birthright citizenship for nearly everyone born on U.S. soil, regardless of their parents' immigration status. That is based on an 1898 Supreme Court case, United States versus Juan Kim Ark, which ruled that a child born in the United States to a non-citizen parent or parents is still a U.S. citizen at birth. The Trump administration argues that children born to undocumented or temporary status parents are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, but that interpretation is in direct conflict with the Supreme Court precedent that I just mentioned. So far, the courts have said immediately after the order was signed, multiple lawsuits were filed, and federal judges in several states issued injunctions to block the order from taking effect. The case of Trump versus Casa is now before the Supreme Court, which held oral arguments in May 2025. However, it's important to understand a few things. The court is currently reviewing whether lower courts can block the order nationwide, and they have not yet decided if the order is unconstitutional. So while the order is blocked, the fight is being far from over. The order does not apply to children born in the United States to at least one lawful permanent resident, also known as a green card holder. And if you or your partner has a green card, your U.S. citizen-born child should still be recognized as a citizen under this order. But that doesn't mean that you're immune from the broader immigration enforcement landscape, which we see continues shifting. What you should do right now, if you think this applies to your family, Even though the executive order is currently blocked, I want you to keep detailed records of your immigration status, your partner status, and your child's birth. You can also request a passport and social security number for your US born child as soon as possible, like today. Make sure you get that taken care of if you don't already have it. Stay updated on the legal case. If the injunction is lifted, implementation could happen quickly. And talk to a qualified immigration attorney if you are pregnant or you're planning to have a child and you fall under one of the categories affected. This executive order is one piece of a much larger shift in immigration policy. And the courts are the only thing standing in between your child and the loss of a constitutional right that's existed since 1868. In my next video, 5 important truths green card holders need to know about ICE, I'll explain how the current enforcement environment affects even permanent residents and what steps you can take to avoid unnecessary risks. Don't wait, watch the video now.